I don't know if we can sort this out, Male.
I don't know if it's something with the stage itself, but I have given you administrative privileges just to fix it. So you have
Yeah,
the
but
highest of the high in Discord right now.
mm, wait, I found it. I found it. For some reason, I can't share my webcam and share my screen at the same time. That is lovely.
That's
I
fine.
don't know
That
why.
that, that
I don't
just
know.
might be something with stages or something.
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't know.
know why, but that's fucking sad. But that's okay. We can work around this. Okay. Rhine position guide. How do you know when to go off on your own triggers versus your teammates in a team environment? Oh my god, this is fucking some crazy questions. Okay. Let me think. Let me answer a question from Overwhelm. How do you know when to go off on your own triggers versus your teammates in a team environment? Let me share my screen so I can put some drawing while I'm yapping. Mm. So I just have some random fucking games open right here. Hey, I can. Do I have anything to leak? I don't think so. I can just do this. You guys can look at my background and I can maybe draw up here. Okay. Okay. How do you know when to go for your own triggers versus your teammates in a team environment? Okay. I'll try to think about your questions. Your own triggers. A lot of the time, okay, when you're playing tank, overwhelm. When you're playing tank, your trigger is like your team trigger because the pace of the game, okay, when you're playing Overwatch, the pace of the game is kinda like this, like there's kind of a heartbeat in the game, you know, uh, that is made around key CDs, and it could be like Ananate, it could be like something like that, but mostly it's tank city, mostly it's any tank city. When you're playing Winston, it's gonna be like, okay, we have a bit of a poking phase, okay, maybe people are gonna shoot a gun, gonna try to find a kill, gonna look for something, and then you're gonna have boom, and then you're gonna have your jump bubble as Winston, or you're gonna have your Rhine pin, or you're gonna have something like that, but you're gonna have your big spike, And a lot of the time, your trigger is gonna be your teammate's trigger, you know. Sometimes mm, you can call it like a red light and like a green light theory, or like talking about red being red lighted, being green lighted, etc., etc. Sometimes if your team really can't go, you need to like respect that. You need to respect their wishes and you need to not go. Okay, that's the important thing. But if you're trying to push a target, you don't necessarily need your team or your entire team to be on that target when you're playing tank. Okay, that's really important over one, because okay, if you're playing a dive comp, for example, or any type of comp, most comps are played the same in Overwatch 2, okay? But let's say there's a bad enemy here, okay, and we want to kill him. We want to kill him, and we're the good guys. We're the green guys, okay? If we are gonna be all the green guys right here, boom, and we're gonna have a nice setup, okay? We're gonna have a nice setup. We're gonna have a big circle, and we're gonna encircle them, okay? So I always talk about that we want to have a big circle around the enemy, and we want to have map control, okay? So if we're in this type of situation, okay, we're in this type of situation. If we all go for this big annoying red guy, what can happen in the game is that this guy will just get full pocket, he will just get full pocket. He'll receive a cleanse, he'll receive full pocket from everyone, he will not die. And maybe even if he dies, what will happen right now is we're all gonna collapse on this fucking guy, and then actually they might have a bigger circle around us with the rest of the 4 players, and our backline tail, as they call it, is gonna get fucked in the rotation, inting on one target. So a lot of the time, what's gonna happen is we're gonna try to sync up maybe 1 or 2 players on this guy, but we're gonna have like a backline stack. So we're gonna have like a tank, maybe from like, why is it so big? Why is it so big? We're gonna have like a tank. trying to pressure from the side. We're gonna have our flanker player. Always depends on comp, right? We're gonna have our flanker from one side, right? And then we're gonna have like our backline. So that's gonna be like mostly hit scan. Our hit scan is gonna be on a slight angle, you know. Our flex support is gonna be on a slight angle, you know. These are 5 enemies, okay? Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. This is great. So it's gonna kind of be like that. Our flex DPS position, it's gonna no, our main support position, it's kind of gonna depend, you know. Sometimes our main support gonna stack. Sometimes like main support, like it depends like what hero it is. It could be like a second flex support, like a Booyang, etc. But if you're like playing a Lucio, sometimes what the Lucio is gonna do is the Lucio is gonna try to follow up the dive a little bit. Main support position, Lucio is going to try to follow up the dive a little bit, then regroup back to his team, depending how much pressure comes onto your backline. But what I'm trying to say, in all of this rambling, is that tank can go on a target, okay? Maybe you can sync up with your flanker sometimes, okay? But it's important that you do something as 5, okay? That's really important. Do something as 5. This is what I'm trying to get to. This is the big underlying point, okay? It's not that important. You don't need 5 players on the same target. You don't even need 2 players on the same target. You just need to do something as 5. You need that 5 players play the game at the same time. You need your flag support to be able to shoot, to be able to heal. You need the hit scan to be able to shoot, be able to heal. You need your main support to do something, your second support to do something. You need your flanker to be able to shoot any target, and you need your tank to be able to shoot any target. Then if we get really high level, we can sync up sometimes, you know? We can sync up on a timing. We can like get shit done, but it's just this is the most important. Do something as 5. I don't really care what you do, but this is the most important. So maybe that helped a bit. Could you break down tank prioritization, like what to focus on? Wait. I will answer to Dante later. I'm sorry. I'm very distracted. Could you break down tank prioritization, like what to focus on depending on the type of tank that type you're playing? Poke, brawl, and dive tanks. Do you focus more on objective, other tank, or who primarily? Okay, this is a great question. Okay, and I will tell you something. Basically, every tank in this game plays the same. Okay, every tank plays the same. Doesn't matter if you're playing Reinhardt, Winston, fucking Roadhog, Mauga. There's like obviously every tank is different in their own way, and you have different prioritizations. But your goal as tank is to kill the backline. Okay, you want to kill the enemy squishies. Okay, when I do my VOD reviews, kill backline, that's your goal. Okay, I always there's a quick guide for tank, very quick guide that I basically say in all of my VOD reviews that I do. You have some priorities. Okay, you want to focus on killing slash focusing the enemy backline. Backline doesn't have to be first kill. Sometimes there will be, a lot of the time there will be, but it's about playing through the enemy backline. So you want to either zone them, you want to stage for them, you want to scare them. You don't really necessarily have to kill them, but you want to focus enemy backline. You want to play through the enemy backline a lot of the time. Okay, so my target priority that I would give you guys as a guide, okay, for any tank you're playing is gonna be, we're gonna have an extra star right here. It's gonna be any kill, guys. It's gonna be any kill. Okay. If you can get a kill, just take it. Doesn't matter if it's tank trolling the game. Doesn't matter if it's it doesn't matter if it's a tracer trolling the game. If you can kill the backline, it's great. If you can kill his can flex support, it's great. But besides of getting any kill, I would give you guys the priority list of number 1, who to focus as tank. It's gonna be hit scan, flag support. Hit scan, flag support. That's gonna be your number 1 priority. Your number 2 priority to shoot slash to focus is gonna be flanker. Like if it's a Genji, if it's a Tracer, if it's a sombra, anything, flanker, character, slash flanker slash mm, second support, main support. It depends. For example, as tank, Genji way easier to focus than Tracer. You know, sometimes you can focus Tracer, but yeah, flanker, main support. Okay. And your third priority is gonna be tank. A lot of tanks in lower elos, what they just do is they just shoot the enemy tank. They just shoot the enemy tank and they try to kill the enemy tank. But guys, I need to tell you something, okay? The tanks in this game, they have a lot of HP, okay? And they have a lot of abilities that can keep them alive, you know? So you really rely on the enemy tank making mistake if you want to kill the enemy tank. What you want to you can play the tank trade. I'm not telling you to always just skip the game and go for the enemy hit scan flex support, but I want you to focus backline. If you want to kill tank, you kind of want to like okay, like I'll give you guys an example. I'll give you guys an example right here. uh, 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 I want a guy. Wait, this is okay. I can use this question from Zerx to give you the example of this. Okay, so I have this in mind. Okay. Xerxes asked, can you talk about what to do against brawl comps like Junker Queen Zarya comps when you're on dive? I get to the moments when I'm trying to stage for dive and get to backline, but either I'm too slow, my backline gets killed, or I just can't kill backline. Okay. That's a good question, okay? Mm, 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 mm. So what you wanna do is you need to realize a lot of you need to not force the game, okay? Your tank life, if you're playing tank, you're very important, okay? You are loved and you're very important as tank. That's what you got to keep in mind. You're very important. So you are like worth two players as tank. That's what you need to realize. So as dive, a lot of players, a lot of tanks, they have like the pressure that they like the inner pressure, the inner voice that they have to get a kill or they're noobs, you know. But what you have to realize, sometimes you can't get a kill. Sometimes contesting enemy backline and being annoying and having high uptime and staying alive, it's the best you can do. When you're playing versus like when you're playing dive, diving hit scan flex support, killing hit scan flex support is great, okay, but you can't always kill hit scan flex support. That's why on my priority list of who to focus, I switched it to focus and not kill, okay, because you want to focus them. So a lot of the time there can be like a stack when you're playing dive, okay, this is going to be the enemy, this is going to be a tank, this is going to be a flanker, and let's say their 3-man backline is stacked. So how you want to play as a dive character is you're gonna go around the side, you wanna encircle them, okay? You basically wanna put your chaser here, you wanna put your wind snowball here, you wanna put your backline here, and you wanna like they have a circle right here. This is their circle, okay? This is their circle, and this is your circle. And you wanna make a bigger circle and you want to eat that circle up, okay? So what you want to do is you want to go around the side and you want to be the Winston, be the chaser here. You want to focus their backline. You want to squish them in. You want to squish them in. You want to zone them out. And then sometimes you can kill backline. Okay. Sometimes you can kill this. You have to play the game. Okay. You just have to see what's on your monitor, on your screen. You have to read the game. Sometimes you can kill these players. And sometimes this zoning is going to allow you. Is gonna allow you guys to get a kill right here. Okay. Sometimes you can zone backline and kill this. This is really important. Keep this in mind. Okay. What you wanna focus on as what you want to focus on as tank is to try to keep your HP. Okay. This is gonna be really important for a dive character. I mean, it's important for every character. Okay. But what I always tell people as priority list is HP is your most important resource because, as we all know, supports are broken in this game. Okay, so you want your supports to be able to shoot their guns and not have to heal you, and you want to have high uptime. HP keeping HP allows you to have high uptime. Okay, because your cooldowns you can get back by AFKing. and just chilling. Just chilling. You can use cooldowns to save HP. Your cooldowns are important, but HP number one priority, okay? Number one, always HP, always HP. We love to keep our HP, okay? Number two is CD. But if we can get value out of CD while shooting our gun, it's good as long as we can keep HP. So that's what I want you to keep in mind. A lot of the time when you're gonna play Winston versus Dive, a lot of Winston, they're gonna take infinite entry damage, they're gonna take infinite pre-fight damage, and they're gonna cross the choke and they're gonna jump in with 300 HP, or they're gonna just jump in the first place. A lot of the time it's gonna be just better to stage your dive or do a far jump, and you need to really know your limits. It's hard to maybe say in a session like this, but it really depends. It really depends a lot of the time, okay? But yeah, HP CD most important. Also, when I say HP is important, I always tell people when you're crossing a choke, when you're in the pre-fight stage, your goal should be as tank in any pre-fight stage, or whenever you take a turn, okay? Whenever you take a turn, like I explained earlier, this is kind of like a heartbeat. The game kind of works like a heartbeat, where you go boom, and then you have a burst right here, okay? So every time you're in this every time you're in this downtime, you want to reset your HP and your CD, okay? So every time, like, this is like these like big bursts, they are your CD turns, okay? They are your high value turns. But in a pre-fight, when you're crossing choke, you really, before crossing the choke, before taking a turn, you really want to make, because you're gonna have a, like, it's fine to poke a little bit, it's fine to shoot your gun, but before, like, because this has the little spikes, it's fine to shoot your gun a little bit. It's time to like look for something, play the game, see what happens, right? Like looking for an opportunity. It's really fine. But before you cross a choke, you really wanna make sure that you are full HP, and as close as full HP as humanly possible, and as close as a full CD. HP more important though. Okay. Which traits are valuable enough to die for as a tank, or is it almost never worth it? Great question. It's almost never worth it, okay? It's never fucking worth it to die. You can sometimes trade for enemy tank, okay? Sometimes you can trade for enemy tank because you guys have same value, okay? But if you consider that you're just better at the game than the enemy tank, then you shouldn't trade for them. But sometimes it's fine to trade for enemy tank. For example, let's say you're playing Wrecking Ball, okay, and you have the steamroller perk, okay, and enemy diva uses like David diva, who uses her remake bomb, okay. Sometimes as ball, it is fine to die for this diva, because you guys are both 2 point value players, okay, and you're denying him from getting his remake with full HP. Okay, sometimes you can die for Lucio, who has beat in a last fight. But even then, probably not. But sometimes you can die for this, but most of the time it's not worth it. You shouldn't try that. You're looking for trade. Some that you die for. Like, die for somebody. Okay, you don't want to die for somebody. Sometimes when you're in a losing position, if you're in a losing position, you can go for trades. Okay, if you're in a losing position, you can go for trade because you have to clutch. Losing position always means you have to either clutch the fight, like, so you have to make a crazy play, or you have to get out. Okay, that's your priority. That's always your priority in a losing position of the game. So when you're playing tank, you can, for example, like, let's keep in mind that you are two value character. Doesn't matter what tank you play. In my opinion, DPS is 1 point character. Okay, DPS is 1 point. Support is 1.5 points, and tank is 2. Okay, support 1.5. So that means if you can trade for both supports, or if you can trade for DPS and a support, maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth it to trade. But if you can't trade for 2 players, or you can't trade for the enemy tank, it's not worth it. If you can kill, for example, the enemy tank before they get before they get the remake off as Diva, or before like you can pin them off the map before they get Doomed or Primal. That's what we always used to do in Overwatch League. Like for example, this play, like when we did this, it kind of looks funny, you know. It's like fucking hilarious. But what we like doing this, I hope you can see the screen properly. What like the goal in this, like when I go for this, like it's gonna like when I go for this pin right here, the purpose of it the purpose of it, besides looking fucking cool, the purpose of it is that here's 70 ult charge. 70 ult charge is hard to track. That means they're gonna be close to Doom ult. Okay, so I'm just gonna go for a trade because my character is fast anyway. You know, I'm just gonna go for a trade. If they have like Doom ult, Doom ult or like Primal Rage, and you can play like you're playing Reinhardt, and you can pin the enemy tank off the map to go for a trade, it's good, you know, because a lot of the time they're gonna nano in that Doomfist, nano in that Winston, nano in somebody, and you look for a trade. It's like good. It also inflicts a little bit of mental damage, and inflicting mental damage is always good, you know. That's a slight value. Let's see. You can define tempo and how you identify it in a game. Mm, okay. Tempo is always tempo is you're gonna okay tempo is a lot of the time you just have to play the game and see what happens on your screen. Okay, you wanna look for like making turns onto the enemy backline, like we said, focusing flex support and hit scan even when you're playing Ryan, or just trading HP, trading CD. So a lot of the time you're gonna look for either, why is it always going big, whatever, you wanna like either you're gonna stage if you find a good opportunity to stage for the enemy backline, you're gonna stage. If you find a good opportunity to stage for like to just poke HP trade, you can poke an HP trade. Okay, poke HP trade, and you can look for an opportunity. You can see what happens. Maybe you can punish a player. Maybe you have HP advantage. Okay, really important to consider. Like, see when you have HP trade, CD trade. You know, when you have HP advantage or CD advantage. That's a lot of the time how you can recognize recognize tempo. You know, that's how you can recognize tempo. A lot of the time when you have HP advantage or CD advantage. Let's say you're playing a Rhine mirror and they're all one. They're all one. You know, like you get Reinhardt to 1 HP, so you can push the tempo. You can push the tempo of the game a lot of the time, making all of those calls. And then in those situations, you need to be careful, because I always like to talk about this in my coaching session. You're gonna like have loose conditions sometimes, where if you have an advantage like this, you need to be careful of ult turns, you need to be careful of flanks, you need to be careful of just getting traded in general, you need to be careful of high value CD turn like Ananate, etc. Okay, let's check the next questions right here. I'm gonna scroll up real quick to see if I missed something. Blah blah blah. May touch how to the double flex DPS as ball and non-ball. How you see playing against Zaya Reaper comps. Okay, okay. I'm gonna answer Dante question real quick, guys. I'm very sorry. I'm very slow. How to play against ball comps, double flex, yeah, as ball and non-ball. I mean, really the same. Sometimes it's always you can look for an enemy backline. You don't want to int, you don't want to die because you're a high value character. You're playing tank. I don't care if you're playing ball. I don't care if you're playing something else. Blah blah blah. Okay, if you how to play versus Zaya Reaper. Zaya Reaper are two tank characters. Okay, versus two tank characters, you want to stretch the map a lot. Okay, you want that there's a gap between Zaya Reaper and backline. Okay, this is really important. You want to create a gap between Zaya, Reaper, and backline. You want the Zaya Reaper to walk fast and like do something, and then you need to want the backline to not be able to walk. So you want to zone, you want to always play through backline, maybe force the Reaper shift, maybe force some bubbles, try to not give energy, and focus backline, and then you can punish Zaya or Reaper a lot of the time. Sometimes Zaya Reaper can be killed. That's the important thing to keep in mind. Sometimes Zaya Reaper can be the first kill on those comps. Sometimes backline doesn't have to be the first kill. If Zaya, you need to check the bubbles, you need to check the Reaper CDs, you need to even check the TP. It's very important. Double Reaper CD can give him like the invulnerability frames. So all of that is really important. If you're playing, wait, if you are playing tank against a really oppressive team that is dominating your DPS and supports, how do you help prevent the snowballing? This is a case where the team is obviously better at positioning coordination. Example of this is maybe on a high choke hybrid map like Icon or King's Row. Okay, when you're struggling on a map like Icon or King's Row, when you're playing on a pay, okay. If enemy is pushed up on any type of map with an objective, okay? If enemy is pushed up, if enemy is pushed too far, you can force objective always, okay, to make something happen. Because when you can force objective to pin a player to point, okay, it's easier on payload maps than on Cov and Flashpoint and Push, because a lot of the time the fight happens closer to the objective on Push and Flashpoint and Cov than on payload maps. But sometimes you can force objective, especially when you're like playing ball or anything. You can like pretty much always do it. Forcing objective is gonna pin a player to point, okay? Pin one or two players to point, and it's gonna create space for you to make the chokehold less oppressive, because they have to mirror you on point or they're gonna lose the game, because the game at the end of the day is objective based. It's gonna be an objective based game, and if they don't go to you, you will cap the point, and then you can be very happy and you can put a smiley face, okay? So that's a great idea when you're getting dominated in a choke. An example, okay. I will come back to the rest of your questions, CCU, because I've seen something on the other one. How do you keep team morale up in rough spots and be able to come back, and vice versa, keeping focus in winning situations? Okay, this is really important for a team environment, okay? In a team environment, from my experience playing 6 years in teams and working with a lot of different personalities, I think you need to make the vibe good. You need to have fun, okay? It's very important. If you're in a losing situation, if you're in an even situation, you need to try to just have fun, okay? When like in a team, you always need somebody to bring out like the vibes, and like make people feel comfortable. Like a lot of a skill as a player that I always pride myself in is that I thought like I could buff my teammates, by just like providing like a fun team environment, because like when you play like as a professional and like pro and you're getting paid to play and it's basically a job, it can get stressful a lot. But you need to have like high confidence in the game, and you need to have fun to play freely in a flow state. So it's hard to like explain in a way, but you need to try to just make the environment good, and have a good time. That's really important. And then vice versa, focus on winning situations. You can still have a good time while you're winning, but you can be like, you need to like be like, guys, let's log in, okay? They can still win. They can still win this, guys. Let's keep it our best, guys. Like shit like that. They can still win. Let's log in, guys. Let's log in. Shit like that. Like you can keep the environment fun while still being serious. Like you don't have to go full troll mode, but you have to be fun while still being serious. Do you have any advice for playing into very pokey backlines? Is it just better pathing, get good? Yes, you have to You just get good and get on backline. Okay, if you're playing versus very pokey backlines, you need to really make sure that your pre-fight pathing and setup is good because you need to not lose HP. I will keep going on like your like pre-fight setup pathing needs to be good because you don't want to lose HP. Versus really pokey backlines, characters like Ball, Diva, Hazard even are really strong because those characters can get like easily one shots onto the pokey backlines. But you need to really make you need to be careful because pokey backlines in the essence like really like squishy backlines, like for example.
I think we lost you for a second, Hadi.
Hello, mic
Hello.
check.
Okay, we hear you
Nice.
again.
My mic deceived. My mic deceived. NA host, shut up. Okay, kick this guy. Okay. Uh, when you're playing versus like when you're playing versus like guys, my headset deceived. It's not my fault. What can I do? It's technical difficulties. Okay, when you're playing versus like Ana, Zen, Hitscan, backline, they are like inherently glass cannon. You know, they're glass cannon. They can one shot you, but they can also get one shot every time. You know, you can just kill them, kill them, kill them, kill them off CD. So you just need to have good setups, keep your HP in the pre-fight, and fucking one shot them over and over and over again, you know. Don't be too greedy. You need to find the balance, but that's what you gotta do. uh 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 uh, uh Doom advice, rule. I'm shit on Doomfist. Okay, it's just the only advice I can give you is that all the fundamentals for tank apply for Doomfist. Like sometimes for like characters like Doom, Mauga, like even Ramatra, like shit like that, you can focus the tank a little bit more. Like a lot of like when I see the high level dooms in my games in my rank, because there's a lot of high level doom one tricks in like super high rank, is they are really good at main trading, like trading a bit, looking for opportunities, you know. Like when I tell you, you always like you want to focus backline. Sometimes you can play through the enemy tank a bit, you know. Like you want to like you can like spare like shoot a bit, you know. Like you can sometimes like try to farm in powered punch, try to get some ult charge going on the tank, try to create a opportunity for backline, for your backline to pop off. But a lot of the time as Doom, you have like a lot of like smaller power spikes where you can like get some shit going. Like you have like a good mouse one main pressure, you can get some punches going, and then you try to farm your empowered punch, and then you can go boom for the backline or boom on the tank, you know. Like for Doom, like characters like for Doom especially, to be honest, Doom is like pretty good at like starting playing through the tank, then focusing backline, going back on the tank, you know. Like Doom also has like a lot of good timings to focus the enemy tank, because you can like cancel abilities like defense magic, sigma shift, you know, all of those stuff. So that's my best Doom advice I can give for you. Like do some cool movements, get good at shooting your hand cannon. How do you win as Winston when your team does not or cannot set up for a dive? Just solo dive. You don't need to, like I said earlier. If you saw Marcelo, you don't always have to dive or kill, and you don't have to dive as 5 players. Okay, just zone their backline and live. Zone their backline, live. Zone their backline and live, and be happy. If your team is shit, just flame them and move on. Okay. What you need to realize is that 33% of games are lost, are won and are lost. Okay, 33% of games are an insta win unless you troll the game. 33% 33% of games are insta an insta loss unless you hard carry, and then you're gonna have these 33% in the middle, that where you can make a sizable difference, maybe 34% even, if we're being very generous. Then we have the 34% in the middle, where this is a 50-50 lobby where you can make a difference. Okay, so if you're really fucking good, that means you're gonna have a win rate of 6-7. Okay, if you're really fucking good, or maybe even higher if you're able to win some of these unwinnable games. It's hard, but you can do it. You can do it. But you need to have the mindset of that these games, these 33% of games, they are mostly lost. Okay, so that means that doesn't mean to like give up and not try. You can also try, but don't be too emotionally invested in those games. Okay, if you're playing ranked, it's just a game of odds. It's a game of odds, right? If you play 10 games, if you have a day and you play 10 games, you can, in theory, have these 33% games there. But you need to have a higher sample size of 100, 1000, 100 million games to actually like have this statistic, you know? Sometimes you can have an unlucky day, but an unlucky day means if you play the odds of the lottery that you will have a lucky day, you know, like, and then you will have an even day where you can make a difference and carry and pop off. So yeah, that's something to think about, guys. uh like when I'm diving, like with hazards, sometimes I don't get followed by my teammates. Should try to get value or should abort instantly? Just try to live zone backline. Okay, a lot of the time. Okay. This is actually, this is something good. This is something good. If you press if you're playing dive tank, if you're playing dive tank, not even just dive tank, but if you're playing tank, you want to have a big circle. Okay, you want to have a big circle as your teammates. Okay, so your backline will be here, backline here. If you're making a move as tank, you will press your CD, you will use your turn to get into the enemy backline, like somehow, right? To zone the enemy backline. What you want to try to do is you want to play in your backline line, so your backline can support you even just with mouse one, with healing, with just gun pressure, with just suppressing fire, shit like that. That's what you want your backline to do. Once your turn runs out and you use your CDs and your CDs run out and you're low on HP, you want to try, if you can, to not jump back and go back to your backline. Okay, sometimes you will have to. Okay, but you should only go back into your backline if you are forced to. Okay, if it's the only way to survive. Surviving is the number one priority, but if you can, extend your backline angle or just play your backline LOS to get healed and keep the angle on a corner, like a 90-degree corner, so the enemy has to like push you into a crossfire, if that makes sense. Like you want to like play the walls, so your backline, like, so like for example, if this is like a wall, you want to be behind the wall and the enemies, they have to push into you into a 90-degree angle. So if the enemy wants to try to finish kills onto you, they will go into your backline LOS while your backline can heal you and shoot the enemies to save you, etc, etc. Okay, there's a lot of messages in the chat. I'm trying to answer everything. What do you do when you feel like nothing you're doing a tank is having impact on the game? Bro, just try your best. It's the same mindset. 33% of games are insta loss. If you can't win, that's sometimes you're just gonna lose. Don't be too tilted, you know? If you play Zaya, what is the generosity rotation on your bubbles? My timing is always off and I don't get much value. Okay, you want to try to always have like at least 3/4 of a bubble. Probably more. Okay. SI. Okay. You need to check ults. It's really important for you, especially enemy support ults. Okay. You need to check enemy support ults because when enemy has Kitsune Rush or Nano Boost or shit like that, like you need to try to have two bubbles for yourself. Okay. You, if enemy has a big support ult and you want to survive the support ults because living is really good, you need to have two bubbles for yourself. If they don't have support ults, you need to at least have like 3/4 of a bubble, so you're in a perma rotation. You want to try to bubble, you want to try to bubble your team as much as you can. Okay, you try. Zaya is good in like combo with characters like Genji, Venture, Reaper, like even like Brick. But I mean, it's not like recently Brick Zaya hasn't been good, but like characters that you can like bubble, that you can actually bubble, because your friendly bubble CD is lower. You know, your friendly bubble cd is lower than your self bubble cd, so a lot of the time you can get three friendly bubbles in the timing where you have two selves, you know. So or you can do two friendlies into one self. But yeah, the bubble, like the to get energy, you need to really Okay, you need to be a fucking nerd, okay? To get a lot of energy, you need to rely a lot on like predicting projectiles. You need to predict like choke spam. You need to be really good. You need to be really good at reading vision aggro, okay? It's very important to read vision aggro. It's hard to say how to do it, okay? But you need to read when the enemy looks very angry at your teammate or at you, okay? You actually need to read that. It is possible, okay? But you need to read when the enemy looks really horny to kill you or your teammate, okay? So that's important for bubble timings. Choke spam to get energy, projectile like abilities, vision aggro, or a lot of time when you want to use a self bubble or even a friendly bubble, the vision aggro thing is if you want to get energy, you need to force the enemy to shoot you, okay? They need to shoot you. That means you want to be a threat. You have to be a threat before you press bubble. If you're not using it for a spam, if you're using your bubble in close range, you want to be a threat first. That means be really fine with losing 100 HP before pressing self, even 200 HP. A lot of the time you want to use the bubble as a saving tool. You don't want to get too low HP so they can burst your bubble and one shot you, but you want to be low, like you want to lose some HP so they're not thinking about self bubble. You're kind of going forward. You have to shoot them. They have to shoot you back. If they're never going to shoot you, you're going to be an invincible Zarya. It doesn't matter if you have zero energy, and invincible Zarya will carry it, will carry the game. So they will have to shoot you. You will have to be a threat. So take a little bit of damage, and then you can predict that they will keep shooting you. Can we get some 6-7, 6-7? Uh, uh, uh. Any advice for zoning backlines that are more mobile, aka Lucio Kiri, etc.? Assuming they aren't on like Ana Brick. Okay, Lucio Kiri is specific. You need to. Okay, 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 okay. Lucio Kiri is interesting. Okay. Uh. mm, 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 mm. We need Cloudy Salmon next. That's a fucking disrespect. I'm better than Cloudy. Anyways, let me answer this question first. Any advice for okay, Lucio Kiri, they can out tempo you. Okay, so if you're playing like a lot of versus Lucio Kiri, you need to get better at playing the midfield. Okay, because if you're playing versus a good Lucio Kiri backline, a lot of the time what they can do is if like let's say they have Luke Kiri. Let's say they have Soyon, okay? Because that's a good example. Let's say they have a tank and a flanker, okay? If you try to zone this backline, Lucio, Kiri, Sojourn, they all have abilities to out tempo you. They can run away, they can speed boost, they can slide, they can carry TP. So a lot of the time you wanna get good at playing the midfield so you can deal damage or kill them in their cross. So if you go behind, like woo, if you jump into their spawn, they can just be like, okay, fuck you, dive tank. I'm gonna run forward and you are AFK and doing nothing. So versus like those highly mobile backlines, you want to play like this position a lot. You want to kind of zone like this, so they have to either press S button and get less impact, or they have to press W button and you can at least get some left click into follow up on chase on your next CD. That's kind of what you want to do versus Lucio Kiri. Kinda. Crash course. How do you play against running against heroes who has more agility, like Diva, Kiri, Bub, Pharah? Okay, okay. Sometimes you can kill like Kiri Bub, but Ryan is really strong at forcing objective. Okay, Ryan is really hard to 1v1. Ryan is one of the harder tanks to 1v1. Like, you can basically win 1v1 versus every tank except like Ram, I guess. Like Ram, you can bait CDs. Like whereas Ram, you can do a lot of like push, pull. Like you bait a shield, you have shield after, you bait his form, you can get in after. You can like fuck up the Ram sometimes if you hit a pin. Sometimes it's hard, but you can play a lot when enemy just runs away for you as Ram, as Ryan. Enemy just runs away from you. You gonna force the point. They have to go on you or they will lose the game. So even though I just shit talk Cloudy, he's really good as well. He's also good at playing the Ryan style where it's hard comms. Uh, but he's really good. He's just gonna go point and just put the shield on the point, just put the shield in the back, get really good at dodging CDs, dodging damage, keeping your HP alive, use your shield a shit ton, okay? A lot of like lower player Ryans, they don't use their shield too much enough, They don't use their shield enough. Just let your shield break sometimes. You need to get good, Uh uh uh. Du- 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 du. How do I wait? How do I know what play style of Diva to play? Dive or peel or brawl enemy tank or flank and how to play into Zarya. Okay, well Zarya, if you're playing Diva, you can't kill Zarya if he has a lot of bubble. You shouldn't trade on Zarya. Okay, so it's the same again. It's the same as we were saying was the Zarya Reaper comp. You wanna create a gap. You wanna create a gap onto the backline. You wanna force that backline away and you want this like you want to play this position so that backline has to run that Zarya Reaper gets split. And then sometimes you can kill Zarya. But you shouldn't interact with the Zarya that much as Diva. Sometimes if you know low bubbles, low resource, you can split the Zarya as Diva, you can one-shot him with missiles, you can walk into him, missile and one-shot him, okay? But most of the time you're not peeling as Diva. You're not peeling that much. Sometimes you can peel, okay? But you shouldn't go into the mindset of the game playing tank that you're gonna tank for your team. Tank is a really broken role because you can do everything, okay? But mainly you're fat DPS. That's what you need to keep in mind. When you're playing tank, your main job is to be a fat DPS who can kill the enemy backline. You're a server admin on the field and it's your job to fucking carry, okay? So you shouldn't focus too much on peeling. If you have the opportunity to peel and save a life, it's good, okay? But usually go back shifting is really bad unless you can get a kill. This is what you need to keep in mind. That's what I was saying on the staging earlier. Backshift Backshift is only if you have to or it gets you a kill. If you have to stay alive or it gives you a kill. That's what you need to keep in mind. So yeah, blah 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 blah. Let me look. I think we missed this question. Yeah, that was it. If I zone backline, either both support his can my team dies to any frontline. What's the issue? Should I zone and then have my backline or should I keep zoning? Okay, either you flame your team because they are noobs, or okay, it's also important to get kills, okay? So a lot of the time zoning a lot of the time leads into getting kills, okay? So a lot of the time it's like one move, you're just gonna like take them out for dinner, you're gonna chill, woo, woo, and then the game is gonna happen, there's gonna be a second turn, oh okay, and then you're gonna have some foreplay, and then you're gonna fuck them and kill them, like that's like the goal. So a lot of the time you need to stay alive for like this turn, this turn, this turn, and then you maybe kill them on the second, third, fourth rotations. Uh, like I said earlier, Minsuk, it's the same type of mindset where where you can zone backline into take attention on frontline. Sometimes the enemy tank can be the first kill, but most of the time it's the goal to play through backline. Okay, that's your goal. Play through backline. That doesn't mean that you're killing backline first, but most of the time you're focusing backline first. Your goal is to get to the backline first, but that doesn't mean that the backline will be the first kill. Okay, that doesn't mean that the backline will be the first kill, but most of the time you're playing through the enemy backline. You can clear DPS tank. That's your job when you're especially retaking. Your retake job is always clear everyone if you can. Retake is clear, or you're forcing objective to pin somebody back, clear, or forcing objective to basically clear in another way. But you want to play through the backline, but that doesn't mean backline will die first. You can kill the tank first, you can kill the flanker first. Is playing peel almost always a throw since you're just delaying the inevitable? Yeah, it is, Shiva. We got to this. I didn't see your message, but if you're peeling, it is basically if you have to go back anyway, then you can peel and help your team. Sometimes if you can like use a friendly bubble if I mean it's good to peel for your team, okay? It's wholesome, okay? If you have an opportunity to save a life, it's good, right? Like do the good thing. But if you're jumping back to peel, it should be only because you can get a kill, you know? Like if a Genji dashes on your backline, a lot of Genjis they will dash on your backline and they're fucking suicidal as fuck, and you can just go kill them while helping your backline, you know? It's like a two for one deal. Any advice on Hazard? My advice on Hazard, the best advice is use your wall kinda as a bubble. Be aware that if you don't have wall, you can still use your shift. You can still use your shift if you don't have your wall, but your wall is kind of your safety button. Your wall is kind of your safety button. It's your big turn ability. You can block CDs with it. You can confirm one shots with it. You can just pull it out as a wall to avoid damage. So that's the best advice I can give. Any advice how to recognize your team comps peaks and enemies and knowing when their peak is down and if you should look for yours before theirs? Like if the enemy has a very high peak that maybe comes faster than yours, etc. It's just experience of playing against comps. Okay. You okay. You have to recognize, are you playing the faster or are you playing the slower comp? That's like a goal a lot of the time. Are you playing the the faster comp or slower comp? That was actually a great question. Are you playing the faster comp or the slower comp? Usually the faster comp has bigger peaks, okay? So for example, if you are playing Winston and the enemy is playing Sigma, in the tank matchup at least, Winston is a way more CD reliant, peak heavy character than Sigma, you know? Sigma still you have your CD, you have your rock, you have your shift, you have your shield HP, but you rely way more on your like gun value, you know, than Winston. So you have to recognize, are you playing the faster or are you playing the slower comp? If you're playing the slower comp, if you're playing the slower comp, you can sometimes you can sometimes you like focusing backline is good, okay? But if you're playing the slower comp, your goal can be you can mark tank and flanker a lot, okay? I don't want you guys to fully bot, so I'm being really hesitant to say this, you know, because I don't want you guys to just bot on the enemy tank forever and just have no impact. But if you have a really slower comp, like let's say you're playing Sigma, Zen, Barb, and the enemy is playing Winston, Chaser, Genji, a lot of the time it's going to be really high value to get the defect out, to get HP, to get the Winston bubble out, to get a lot of HP onto the enemy Winston. It's going to be very high value, okay? And when you're playing the faster comp, it's very like it's basically opposite day if you're playing the faster comp. It's very important to not mark the tank and the flanker and always go for backline, avoid damage, and fucking get kills. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah. You need to recognize this for your turns and for your playstyle. And when you're playing a mirror matchup or anything that's close to mirror, it's always the rule going for backline. How do you play Wrecking Ball? Oh, wait, happy belated birthday. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. How do you play Wrecking Ball in the neutral when diving isn't an immediate option? I see players like Rhino doing this more, but I struggle with it a lot. Okay, sometimes you can tank trade. Okay. Two options. Always retaking or like neutral slash retake. Neutral slash retake, okay? Neutral or retake. If you get a good opportunity to clear enemy flanker, clear enemy tank, get HP trade, it's always when you're retaking, when you're neutral, it's always especially retake for this, what I'm about to say, but it's always what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? We can clear the enemy flanker and the enemy tank if we can see an opportunity to get a nice like 1v1, you know, if like the tracer is camping a mini and you're gonna lose 400 HP and your shields as ball to clear the tracer, it's probably not good, you know. But like you need to still play the game and you need to play it good. So yeah, you wanna clear and you wanna you can shoot a bit. Like you can shoot a bit. You can use CDs. You don't need to be too afraid to waste the CD. Like you can shoot, you can trade, like you can get some ability out. And the nice thing about when you're playing ball is that you can just go into the enemy spawn and set up. You can just run into the enemy spawn and set up the game. You don't even need to do this. You don't even need to do this as ball because you are the fastest character in the game and you can just go into the enemy backline and you can just go set up, use one grapple to stage and then look for a nice setup to block out the enemy backline. Or when you have to retake and the enemy is close, you can force objective with this setup a lot of the time. So yeah, that's kind of what you can do on the ball. Any more questions, guys? What are the important things you learn to keep in mind when playing simcoms and team play? Also, what would you say are the common mistakes to look out for when learning to play sim as a team? Mm, Okay, you have to be really disciplined playing Symmetra in a team environment, and you have to play a lot on the fucking objective. Okay, like it's the same like goal we saw on Reinhardt. Reinhardt is strong on the objective. Like if you see this, like this lighthouse example is one of the best examples of a map where you can see how to play the game. Why fucking okay? Why is there? Okay, I don't know. I don't know why I'm not full screen. I really don't know, but that's okay. Let me do this. Okay, so here you see this. We play with Atlanta Reign in Overwatch League. Okay, and look at the teams. Enemy has so many Koreans. Oh my God, there's so many Koreans. Look at this. Look at this fight, guys. Okay, we're about to lose this first fight, by the way, on KOF, and we got 42% in a lost fight, by the way. Okay, so we lost this fight. If you press tab, we have terrible KDs, okay? We have terrible KDs. Are we gonna lose this fight again? We're gonna, okay. I think we're gonna maybe lose a fight right here. Maybe we're too good. Maybe we're not losing. Let's see. Now we're gonna lose this fight again. Oh no, we're not. Okay, we're too good. Sometimes you lose a fight, sometimes you win a fight. Like a lot of the time you're gonna force objective because getting a win, like getting a losing a fight on objective can usually get you card distance, and if you win on objective, you get even more card distance. And also when you're playing with dive or anything that can push you, if you're like this is like really important was dive. Okay, that's the first thing that I really wanna make sure everyone understands. This really important was dive, because if you're playing on objective, enemy is pressured to make a move. Okay, enemy is pressured to make a move. As sim is really good was dive because you can skip like the hitboxes. You see what we just did there? Like here, a lot of the time there's like multiple boxes where you wanna hit the enemy. Like right here, this choke, you want to kill the enemy. Then like when they walk out of either this choke, like this choke, but you see, you can skip all of these ugly rotations with a teleporter, you see, and they can't go into this room because we're 5 players here with brawl abilities, impossible for them to go into this room. And then what we're gonna do here, there's not a valuable TP really, so sometimes you can fake TP, clear some space, we're gonna fake TP Rhine pin, and then we're gonna force point, because our comp a lot of the time, we have the better poke, we have some one-shot pressure. If you're the fire strike, icicle, sim damage, if you hit all of that stuff, you can get one shots, you can get one shots sometimes. So this is really important when you're playing with a ground tank like Orisa, like Ramacha. A lot of the time what you can do as Symmetra is you can skip the enemy tank when there's a map with like a high ground. For example, this second point right here on Blizzard World. Mm, 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 mm. Is what you can do, for example, right here when you're playing a sim comp, is you can chill here. Enemy tank will drop down, and then you can skip the enemy tank's position and go above and go for backline. What I also want you to guys keep in mind, if you're playing with a Symmetra player, when you're playing with a Symmetra player, Symmetras don't always need to use TP for for the team. Okay, sometimes a TP with like an overclock is strong. Sometimes a TP for an angle is good. Sometimes TP high noon is good. Sometimes TP window is good. Sometimes TPing your Symmetra only on an angle just to shoot some right clicks and TP back and get some distraction is good. Sometimes using fake TP as distraction is really strong, you know? So you don't have to make a 5-man play with every TP because it can get predictable. It's important to sometimes switch up the game. So yeah. Anyone any more questions, guys? Hello? What is my headset doing? Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Sometimes my flex DPS, flanker, and tank have a tough time syncing up and doing the same thing at the same time, hitting the same target. Have you had any issue? Have any advice to practice getting better at that? Maybe just get good. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just get better at the game. Just sync better with your backline. I think sometimes like I think some like you can sync better with your team, okay? Like that's like the only actionable advice. Like sometimes what tank flex DPS are gonna do is if this is your backline and your backline is like if this is your backline and your backline is in Africa, your backline coming back from spawn. A lot of the time your tank and flex DPS they will run already into the enemy spawn and that means they will take pre-fight damage and that means then once your backline, oh my backline, I'm slow, I'm slow, I'm slow. Once your backline is actually able to help your team, these guys have already taken 1 million damage. That can happen a lot of the time. So if your tank flex DPS or if your backliner tell your tank flex DPS, wait guys, I'm coming back. If your tank or flex DPS, make sure what you can do is you can check your backline position, guys. You have a lot more downtime in the game than you think you do. Okay, I want you guys to keep that in mind. Check your backline. I know it's boring, guys, but just turn around. Don't be the horse with the horse cover in your brain and be only locked in on what's directly in front of you. Actually see the game 3D vision. What I tell a lot of players to do is they need to see the game in 3D. That's gonna like help you pathing. You need to have like a 3D slash like bird's eye view. You need to have like a mini map in your brain of like everything that exists at all times. You need to check where are all the 5 enemies, where are all my 4 of my teammates, and you obviously also need to check where are you, because sometimes you can get very lost and it's scary. So like if you if you're if you're bad and you're dying a lot and you're taking a lot of damage and you're getting your turn forced before your team is ready, try to check your backline, try to zoom out of the game, okay? Try to see yourself and your teammates in like a bird's view of the map. That will allow you to find some better pathing. Try to think outside of the box sometimes. I often struggle to time Kiriko's teleport to support dive things like Doomfist, Ball, or Winston. Sometimes it works, other times I just die. Can you give general advice on identifying safe engages for each of them? Okay, okay. First of all, mm, don't. If you think there's gonna be a. Okay, Kiriko is a very important hero to stay alive with, okay? So if you think there's gonna be a high chance that you're gonna die trying to save your teammate, don't save the Inter, guys. Don't ever save the Inter, okay? If he's not an Inter and you can save him, you can save him, okay? But don't save the Inter. Don't int for the Inter, okay? It's like you're throwing like bad money after worse or like whatever they say. I don't know what they say. I can't fucking speak. I'm European. I don't know what they say in the English language. But yeah, don't try to help your team. Don't try to help your team. If they are a lost cause, let them be a lost cause, okay? It's very important to help, like to identify when your teammates are lost causes, okay? Because there are a lot of the time lost causes. But it's really. I mean, am I legally obligated to? Yeah, that's 100%. You're legally obligated to int like 10 times, okay? But wait, let me But if you want to win, you shouldn't int ever. You know, you actually need to lock in if you want to win. But if you want to just int and then flame your team, that can also be therapeutic experience. You know, I do that a lot. But for the Kiriko advice, a lot of the time you don't wanna TP into your teammate unless it's a safe. Okay, unless it's a safe TP. Lol, lol, dude. But how do you identify a safe TP? Safe TP as Kiriko is gonna be, you're gonna have cover on the TP. You can track your threats. Okay, track enemy CD. If enemy Winston Genji press dash, you can probably TP to your tank into their backline, you know. So track the enemy scary characters and CD. That's one thing. Okay. Track enemy CD or like even position and range where they can push you. B, most likely you want to have cover or a 90-degree corner. Like I love this. I love saying like 90-degree angle, you know. I want you to have like a 90-degree angle. So if they push you, they have to push a hard corner. If anyone has to push a hard corner versus Kiriko, you can just shoot them in the head. You can pre-aim the corner a lot and fuck them up, you know. You also want to have your Suzu a lot of the time when you're pressing the TP, you know, obviously. So yeah, that's like some good advice. I think this like tracking enemy position, like a range, like able to even push UCDs. I think this is going to be really important. If it's a dive, if it's a dive versus brawl, what options does the brawl team have during the long setup and staging of the dive team, and what can you do as the dive team to counter the counter? Okay, it's the Minsuk. It's the same as we said on the faster versus slower comp. Dive is a faster comp, Brawl is a slower comp. The Brawl team should focus a lot. Okay, this is good. This is good. The Brawl team should focus a lot about fucking the enemy setup. Okay, you want to fuck the enemy setup right here a lot of the time as the Brawl team was the Dive team. Okay, so we're playing Sim May Baptiste. They're they're playing they're playing they're playing Dive, okay? They're playing Doomfist, Ana Kiriko. Look at this. We're gonna play objective. We have two goals. We have two goals. Look what Sparker does. Sparker marks the angle. They what Atlanta Rain is trying to accomplish right now is to make encircle our circle. Okay, we have a circle right now. We're still trying to control, we're still trying to control map. Okay, but they're trying to encircle our circle right here. Okay, they're trying to have a player here, a player here. Their Kiriko Chio is probably going to take this side. They want to have a big circle, and now they're going to put Lip on the flank, and they're trying to put a circle around our circle. So what is our goal as the Brawl team? Our goal as the Brawl team is to not let them have a bigger circle. Our goal as the Brawl team is to have everyone in view, to always track every 5 enemies of the enemy team. Like for me as Ryan, very important to block the key CD, the nade, maybe even the echo stickies if I can, you know. But very important for all of us to mark the enemy sides and be aware where 5 players are. So what Sparker is going to do right here, he's going to self TP himself, and he's going to mark Lip on the angle, and he's just going to 1v1 him, you see. And look, you see Admiral was ready to join him on Lucio, you know. So this is kind of what you do. This is kind of what you do. Then we go int. Then we go int because sometimes you're legally allowed, like legally you have to int. We're gonna stun the Doom. We're gonna use an ult to force objective. Using an ult to force objective. And then you see this, now the hand is forced. They don't have a great setup. They don't have anyone behind. We get a one shot. They do a bad copy. We kill them. They don't have a setup, but they have to stop the point, you know. If they don't stop the point, we will win the game. And if they want to stop the point, their hand is kind of forced and they have some problems, you know. What can you do as a dive team to counter the counter? Okay, I mean, for the dive team, okay, for Atlanta, okay, this is a good example. We're reviewing Lip right here, okay? Lip, he's one of the best players in the world. But what could have done Lip better here? he needs to run away, okay? In Lip, he needs to expect that he's gonna get marked and he needs to play the 1v1 better, or he needs to realize that he's about to get a sim Lucio on his side for a soldier trade, for a soldier position, and if he just lives right here, he's doing good. You know, he's doing good, and his team should have an advantage. That's what Lip should do right here. Or even just like realizing here, I mean, I don't know why he repicks. I'm not gonna lie, that's fucking client move from him, to be honest. Like, he can just run right now. He's repicking a full HP sim with 46 HP. Maybe he's a noob, to be honest. But he's better than me, so no worries. But yeah, he just needs to live in that situation and stuff like that. So it's really important to not get marked on the angle, to avoid getting marked, to get a good setup, to keep your HP a lot of the time. Okay, I got two more questions. How do you learn new heroes efficiently without losing tons of rank games? And what separates good tanks from top tier tanks, in your opinion? I mean, every time somebody asks me, what's the difference between diamond and master? What's the difference between master, GM and champ, low champ to high champ, champ to OWCS, champ to fucking winner, like OWCS midfield to top team, top players? It's always just they're just better at everything, better at getting kills, better mechanics, better game sense, better staying alive, better awareness. You can just be better at everything, like just better at every possible thing you can do in this game. So yeah, that's a bit hard to answer. I got two more, but how do you learn heroes efficiently without losing tons of rank games? I don't know. Put yourself like in a goal, maybe, to like, oh, what do I want to focus on? What do I do? What is my tank's character's job? Type shit, and try to do it. But then just be fine with losing games. Maybe make another account where you're more fine with losing. Maybe practice one quick play. I mean, I never play quick play. I hate quick play. But maybe play quick play if you want, if you just want to get used to the character a tiny bit. But otherwise, I would just say make an account where you don't care that much about losing, where you're not too emotionally affected. And yeah, that's kind of that. Uh, I see a lot of pressure on the tank role to be fight planning and having big comms. Any advice on that, or things that you found help fight plan as tank? Okay, fight plan as tank, you can be really smart, okay? But it's just important to start the conversation sometimes, You can press tab, you see your team has ults, you can be just like, okay, guys, what do we like? Like I said, like I said earlier, you wanna have a good vibe to your team. So what you can say, okay, guys, what do you want to do next fight? Okay, how do you want to use overclock? And you talk to your hit scan, how do you like? Can we play it next fight? Stuff like that. Like, you can just start the talk a lot. Okay, you can obviously have great plans and like really pop off and carry on comms, but a lot of the time it's going to already help by just starting the discussion, and making people start thinking. But if you want to make a plan yourself, you should just make really, really simple plan, okay, to start off. Like, for example, we have a window, they have a choke. Okay, we can just window win across a choke. Okay, a lot of the time, simple plan is gonna involve simple plan is gonna involve most likely an ult from your side, maybe an ult from their side, but mostly more important from your side, ult, location, a hitbox or a kill box, and maybe another trigger if you want another trigger, like a CD to be forced early, like their backline to walk into the hitbox, like shit like this, Usually simple plan, ult, position, maybe setup, hitbox, trigger, like when they cross the first choke on King's Row, like second point, we're gonna use our window. We can pin a window, get ready to follow up, maybe get our tracer behind, whatever. I don't care what we do, but like just make a simple plan. Try to not micromanage your team. I don't think it's that great. Shit like that. Is it worth trading a turn HP trade to secure staging for flex DPS? Feels like a decent team where tank needs to stable. FDPS is in threat of getting forced. How should tank flex DPS synergize when approaching staging? Okay, sometimes you can stage same time. A lot of the time when you're doing the turn HP trade to secure staging, you need to Sitri. Like most good enemies, they won't give you a staging for free. If you're retaking the game, a lot of the time you will take damage. That's just how it goes. Try to on your staging, especially on your first staging, on your first turn, on your HP trade, on your first staging, or on your just HP like resource trade, just try to respect your backline LOS. That's the important thing. On your first staging and in your HP trade, you need to respect your team's backline LOS. That's the important part because you will take damage on your first staging, most likely, unless you're like extremely clean or the enemy is really shit. You will most likely take some damage. So just make sure you're chilling. How should tank flex the synergize? I mean, yeah, sometimes you can take same side for staging, like, but you don't really have to. It really like it's super matchup depending, super map dependent. But yeah, that's kinda it. I hope that answered your question, Citri. It's really important the backline LOS for this one. Backline LOS. Okay, cool. Anything else, guys? Thanks a ton for that. I really appreciate it. Happy belated birthday. Hope you had a good one. This was super helpful to hear. Have a good night. Have a good night too. And thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Okay, guys. We have a. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Any more questions? You want me
Come
to
on, guys.
leave?
Hadi's here.
Do you hate me? Do you hate me, guys? I can leave. Oh no. Love you. You guys are too cute. Guys, what are we doing? Can we get a 30-man packs going? It feels like if you're against double flex DPS comp, any advice? I say, can you hate on Cody a bit? No, I don't. I don't like to. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. Deep down. Uh, Game fundamentally changes if you're against double flex CBS comp. Any advice? I mean, it's the same thing we talked about before Lose Your Kill before. If you don't have a hit scan to focus, if you don't have a super stable backline to focus, you want to play the midfield more. You know, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You want to play the midfield a lot, and then you can get some shit done. But yeah, it's a lot about the midfield when you're playing with two flex DPS. Is it better for sometimes look for kite for reasonable baiting also getting better position? Yeah, it's fine. Especially when you're playing a really like brawly comp, like if you're playing a Rhine mirror, if you're playing a Ram mirror, if you're playing ground tech mirror, it's fine to bait ult and kite. It's fine sometimes, but it's situational. Sometimes it's also better to just lose the fight. What's macro difference with Doom and Has? Very similar, to be honest. They're pretty similar. Both can tank trade. Both can kill backline. With Doom, maybe you trade. I don't know. It depends. With Doom, it's more about on securing really easy kill onto squishies. It's more about your power punch and your ult. Where with Hazard, it's more about your wall timings. How do you play against mirror comms? I mean, that really depends on the mirror now too. I'm very sorry to tell you, but a lot of the time you focus enemy backline. Both, like, okay, usually guys, how the game goes in a lot of matchup, the game goes like this: tank, flanker, focus the enemy backline. Tank, flanker, and go into the enemy backline, and we have this copy pasted for the enemy team. And who will win is whoever tank flanker kill the enemy backline, whoever backline is surviving and is really good, whoever backline kills them, kills the tank flanker, or whoever whoever tank flanker loses the most amount of HP resource, so then the enemy tank flanker can turn around and kill the tank or the flanker. That's usually how the game goes in most matchups. Is it bad? Feels like the goal coming on the. What you're kind of intimidating from watching videos. What you were in the game zone locked in. I swear I'm low key chill guy. Any advice for when you need to play for like a kite or in general you need to play slow, but then your team lacks in space? Okay, that's actually a good question, Shiba. That's a good question. If you're baiting an ult, you still have to pose a threat, okay? If you're baiting, like, if you want to bait an ult, you can't just jerk off at the back of the map and do nothing, okay? If you want to bait an ult, you still need to look scary, but you need to save CD, okay? Like, basically, look scary, but don't take actual, like, look like you're taking a risk, but don't take a risk, okay? Look scary, plus save your important CDs. Save, like, important CDs to get out. That's your goal if you want to bait an ult. Also, uh, also, also, have a kite path on where to kite. A lot of teams, low-level teams. I mean, it's a bit less pliable in ranked, but if you're playing in a scrim, you can pre-call your kite path in a scrim a lot of the time. That's what we always had in London Spitfire and SSG. We always had a pre-call for the kite path, so you never like split kite and get split and die. What decides if the tank or flex DPS should stay on the point? Depends. Tank character, maybe matchup. If you're playing Winston versus Rhine or Ram, a lot of the time the Winston can't really lock down the point because you lose the HP trade. If you're playing Ram versus Winston, the Ram is probably going to stand on the point. If you have a great backline angle of Ram, you can still go for the enemy backline, but it depends on the matchup. It depends on the matchup. You can also ping pong the point a lot, Task Force. Sometimes it just depends who can in the situation. If your Tracer is full HP, has recall, and you have 400 HP as Winston, you don't really want to touch. You want to kind of reset your HP for your next turn. So then your Tracer can touch a little bit. If your Tracer doesn't have recall, you can touch for your Tracer a tiny bit and let him restore his HP, you know? Like sometimes you just gotta hit a ping pong. But a lot of the time when you're playing heavy dive versus heavy brawl, who's gonna stay on the point, like who's gonna lock down the point. A lot of the time, if you're playing really hard dive versus really hard brawl and they just put 5 players on the point, the brawl, you can't really contest the point. It's usually on your Tracer. But sometimes if you're playing ball, for example, and you have a very fast grapple, you can look to the point and you can do this, you know, and just spin a little bit around, delay the point. Sometimes you can tap the point from a side if it's a payload, you know. Sometimes you can stall it a little bit and be cheeky, you know, be annoying as fuck. But unless you're playing ball, you or Doomfist, you can't really be on the point too much, but you can stall it a tiny bit. Currently, champ Doomer to people looking to compete in Phase later on, but I don't know where to even start with learning tanks. But just start. You're having like the you're having like the mental block of you're having like the mental block of when you have too much to do and you can't start anything, you know. Just start something. If you're playing Doom, okay, you already have one dive tank, so you're probably good at fundamentals of dive. Maybe try Zaya, Sigma, something like that, like Junker Queen, like some tank with not big vertical mobility, so you can adjust on playing less with like high grounds and shift abilities, you know. I struggle taking, wait, making sure we're not skipping, wait. I struggle taking too much poke while staging and looking. If I try to hide from poke, I lose track of. Oh, sorry, Dumda. I forgot about your question. I didn't see it. Pa, 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 pa. If I try to hide from poke, I lose track of my dive targets. Mostly has. Uh, it's again same advice of just staying in your enemy backline on your first staging. And okay, you need to do this. Okay, you need to do this. If this is you, if you want to dive a target, what you need to do, this is you are the tank, this is the enemy backline. You need to prey on them like you're in Africa in the wild, like you're a lion, like a lioness preying on a target. You need to do this with your vision aggro. You need to look away. Like you need to look for one frame and identify target, okay? And then you need to look away because you're like, oh, I'm not interested in you actually. And then you need to pounce on them and fuck them up. That's kind of your vision aggro body language. Okay, guys, anything else? Anything else, guys? Anything else? I'm talking for 1 hour, 30 minutes. I usually never speak. Any other questions? Any tips for has micro and whatnot? Again, just make your really major moves around your ball city. Your ball is your Winston bubble. You can still play. Like Hazard is like Hazard is fucking broken because Hazard you can sometimes tank trade, shoot tank, play through the tank, then go on enemy backline. You have a good mouse one, but your important thing to focus on Hazard is if you want to make a big boy move, you should have your wall. Like also it's very important to have like these Genji Kiriko fundamentals to know what position you can like wall climb out of, like take a bit of a scary dive and then you have a wall climb exit, or you can start with wall climb to like be sneaky, shit like that. That's my best tips. And focus like for the one shot combo, focus on the jump, left click slash left click, or like jump wall, left click slash left click melee, like whatever, like I really try to get that combo down if you're not used to Hazard. Like you can wall before you slash a lot of the time and bounce them back into your wall. Anything else, guys? Anything else? What do you think about Hawk this season? I think he's quite good. I think he fell off after people like Hawk was actually quite meta, like an OWCS, even pre-buff. He was really good. He was a solid option, but I think he kind of fell off recently because people are getting better at playing with Hawk. In a win smear of the enemy frontline is winning. How do I adapt my game plan? Uh, okay, if they have Genji, you can focus Genji sometimes. Okay, in a Winston mirror, so enemy is playing Winston too. Okay, sometimes you can punish enemy Winston. You need to recognize if it's a kill or not. Okay, if you like, you can still HP trade. You can still like play the game. You can see what's happening. If they have Genji, you can punish Genji a lot. The trades are harder to punish, but mostly just keep your head up. Try to play. If you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. Sometimes you will win. How do you counter Zaya Reaper OP team comp? Okay, if you want to just counter it, you can play Rum Reaper or Winston Reaper. Really strong versus Zaya Reaper. Because Rum is a trash character, but Rum is actually still quite okay. He's quite okay. He's if you like watch OWCS, he's getting some playtime. Brum, Reinhardt, Winston, all really strong versus Zarya. Those three heroes have the best matchups versus Zarya. Would you consider ranked or playing scrim more important? How transfer are the skills between the two? Uh, mm, uh, it depends what scrim, Scrim is important, ranked is important. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Like it depends what high level scrim, If you're like low GM and you play in a low GM scrim, it's probably not that valuable. Like I always say, you shouldn't really I don't know. If you have fun scrimming, do whatever's fun. Okay, you're playing a game at the end of the day. You need to do what is fun. We love having fun. Okay, so if you're enjoying playing scrim, do what you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it that much, don't do it. And I think, but if you feel like you have to scrim, you really don't have to, at least till you get like, I don't know, like champ probably this season. Like you don't really have to scrim, you can just learn the game. If you have a really in your favor trade on tank, like shooting Winston as Hazard, should you look to match him or still go backline? You should still go backline, but sometimes you can trade on tank. Okay, you like if you have nothing to do, you have a good trade on tank. Okay, you have a good trade on tank, but you need to make sure that the enemy Winston is not actually smart and he's gonna bait you in his backline LOS. But you can do both. You can do both. Like. I'm so sorry. Can you repeat? I didn't have internet connection. I said, if the enemy front line is winning, sometimes you can kill Winston. If they have Genji, sometimes you can punish Genji. But a lot of the time, if you're just losing, don't overthink losing. Okay? Sometimes you will lose. It's okay. Just try to keep your head up. Sometimes you're in a losing position, okay? But you don't have to change anything. A lot of players they overthink. They overthink. Like the game is like 4 minutes long and then they lose two fights and they're like, now I have to clutch. But maybe the third fight, if you just play normal, if you just play the game how it's supposed to be played, maybe you just win the third fight. And maybe the third fight you're gonna try to force something and then you're gonna lose. It's like sometimes you don't have to force the game. But yeah, if you have a really favor in your tank trade on tank, you can still shoot like play through the enemy tank, see what happens, force the Winston away, and like play objective. You can always you can play sometimes the tank trade. I'm just trying to not get you guys mirrored on the tank trade. I'm really trying to not make you guys just only shoot the enemy tank because it's not the way of like carrying most of your ranked games. You know, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, I'm not high GM champ, so ranked focus more. I mean, meta, whatever you want to play, it's fine. Just have fun. Just have fun. But like scrim, it can be good practice, even if it's not the highest level scrim. But I think ranked is also good. Ranked is also easier to just spam. But yeah, whatever you want to do, really. Any more questions, guys? Mm, 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 mm. Wait, I missed something. I missed something. With ball, is it valuable to go for 1v1s against Trace on your staging, split backline members, or is it better to just go for bigger groups your team can follow up on? Okay, a lot of the time, you always miss my question. Bro, I found it, Dumda. I swear I found it. I found it. Okay, sometimes you can 1v1, sometimes you can 1v1 Tracer when you have a good opportunity to 1v1 Tracer, okay? You need to outplay her with like a health pack, okay? Like you need to like be behind the health pack. Sometimes you can force a recall if you have a good trade. Sometimes you can surprise Tracer dropping like down from her on like a high ground and like clipping her for like 100 HP and making her fuck off. But if Tracer has a favorable or even 1v1 into you, it's usually not worth because she can shoot you out and she can win the trade if she's smart. But sometimes if you're feeling it, you can fucking double boob and kill the Tracer, but most of the time it's not good to focus Tracer. Not that good to focus Tracer on your staging because she can mostly fuck you. Split backline members, or is it just better to go for bigger groups your team can follow up on? If you can get a big fucking slam, take the big slam. But a lot of the time you can just split them. A lot of the time it's really fine to just split the enemies. Just split the enemies and try to get a kill on an isolated target, bait out some CDs, take some damage, like deal some damage. Like you don't always just have to go with your role. A lot of the time you can like skybox on ball, get some shit done. Grind a million hours of ranked or more targeted practice. Okay, if you actually want to improve, you should really do targeted practice. You should watch your VODs a lot. You should buy my coaching. you should you should watch Spilo videos. You should watch pros. You want to, yeah, you should watch pros you think are good and you want to practice, like you want to learn from. You should ask for advice. You should really watch review. You should really watch review your own gameplay, even though it's really boring to do. I also always like hate to do it, but I still do it from time to time, especially when I'm actively competing. Like targeted practice is better. Like you should like put yourself, like put some goals. Put goals. Try to analyze your gameplay, or and then self focus mostly from top down or POV. POV always, and then you just look top down. If you have something to like ask yourself or like look at something, but always POV, always your POV, bro. You have to look at your POV. Uh, what do I do if there's a Chungus tracer marking me from all angles? Uh, top down max. No, you have to say how you have to look how shit your fucking mechanics are. You have to realize that, and then you have to flame yourself and hate yourself. What do I do if there's a Chungus Tracer marking me from all angles when I'm taking staging for a dive? Try to avoid her. Try to avoid her, not take too much damage. If she just go on you and you can take like if you can take two players' attention, it's good. And then maybe she runs out of resource, you can force a recall, take a health pack, and get some shit done. Is getting contact with tier 2, tier 1 players good and getting tips from them? Okay, I think if you just contact them without buying coaching, they will hate you. Okay, I think if they stream, you can go to their stream and ask questions, and you're not gonna be annoying, and they won't hate you. Okay, you can always. I think every streamer is happy to answer simple questions in a stream. I think every streamer is happy to do that. I'm very happy to do that. But if you're like putting a fucking 20-page essay wall of text into my DMs, I might just remove you as friend, unfortunately. But unless you buy my coaching, then I'll answer all of your DMs. Uh, any advice on how to keep clear communication in the team, especially in intense situations? Is echo calling good? I find there's a lot of advice for gameplay, but not about communication in a team environment. Yeah, echo calling is good sometimes. Like you always want to have echo calling is very important on like targets. You don't really have to echo like a team fight plan. A team fight plan should like always be really calm. You can do it while walking out of spawn. You can be like, okay, look for the tracer. He has pulls. Let's try to clear this guy. Okay, we're gonna symbol to point next time. We're gonna do this and this and this and this. But yeah, echo calling really good for target focus. In mid fight, what comms should you listen more, or should you go for a kill? You should listen and then go for a kill. You should always kill the enemies. It's really good to kill the enemies and stay alive. That's usually really good in this game. So listen to a team member if they tell you enemy can die, and try to follow it up, but prior your life so you can get more kills. Should I kill enemies or emote and spawn? It's both good. It's like a 50-50 to be honest. Maybe you can bait like an enemy to be your friend, and you can emote into him, and then you can kill him. Maybe it can be like a double combo. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Any questions? Last time, now or never. Hi Hadi, I love you. I love you too. Mm-mm-mm. Who's getting contact with tier 2, tier 1 players? Good. 6, 7. Thank you very much for this time. No problems. I appreciate you. Thank you for being in the stream. Can you give us an example of fight plan? Yeah, I can. I can. Infrared. Give it a second. How to become Sparker overnight? He's very handsome. He's very handsome. You need to go to the gym and be very handsome. What's your favorite number? It's 6, and my close second is 7. Do you think being Finnish makes you better at Overwatch? I don't think so. I think being Korean makes you better at Overwatch. Any advice for not getting lost in the source when you're getting angle fucked and nothing is working? Try to clear angles. Try to clear angles, Shibal, when you can do that. When you're getting fucked by angles. Is it still worth it to grind if 18 years old you have a GM5 peak, or do I just hang up the mouse? Dude, you should always do what's fun to you. I don't know about many pros that besides some Koreans, but I don't know about many pros besides some Koreans who who uh who went who went pro because they wanted to go pro. Usually it's just people playing the game and then they become good. Then they become fucking good and then they get a contract. Okay, okay. Let's see. What is fight plan, guys? Okay, fight plan. Fight plan. This fight. We have beat, shatter, mailed. I'm not planning my shatter because I'm gonna miss it anyway. Okay, when I nano in, we mailed. And then I don't know what the plan was for beat. probably. Like, look, we're gonna use TP, mailed, just to zone, just to zone. Then I'm gonna get my shatter cancelled. That was the plan though. Then backbone is gonna, and then we're gonna beat push, I guess. We're gonna beat push, or we beat me. Let's look at this. This is like this might be easier to like analyze the plan because this is like a front to back ult mirror comp. Like let's see what the plan is right here. This is like a monkey reaper comp. So what's gonna happen a lot right here is there's gonna be a bubble trade, okay? We are blue team. Bellows Rare is getting fucked, okay? Like, really important here. Bellows Rare, he doesn't know the first rule about tank, that you shouldn't take damage. So he takes 1 million damage, uses bubble early. So I'm gonna get the later jump, the later bubble. I'm gonna be full HP. We're gonna kill Bellows Rare. We're gonna force Reaper Shift. So that's like a goal and like they're neutral, you know, CD based. Then let's look at an ult situation. We're gonna have Kitsune Rush. They're gonna have Kitsune Rush. We have a slight beat disadvantage. We have a slight primal advantage. So let's see here. They're gonna Kitsune Rush. We're gonna probably like okay. I'm gonna int actually. Wait, no, I'm not gonna int. I'm alive. Wait, did I live? I think I died. I gonna int, guys. Just flame me and move on with your day. Okay, I think the trade was like to primal to lift their beat, but then I died with 97 primal. That was fucking sad. Okay, now we have primal, we have beat advantage right here. We have primal, we have beat advantage. So now we know that we win the layer trade, okay? And we're gonna beat in. We're really gonna try to like we're gonna clock into beat, and we're really gonna try to not use our primal on that because second beat and primal is never good. So we're just gonna win because enemy team used beat last fight, and now we had beat, so we're gonna win. Now we have primal, they have clock, that we have repulled. Probably our plan is like this has been like years ago, but okay, we're gonna look for kills on the cross right here, nice, and we're just gonna clean up the game right here, nice. But I would guess that the goal is to go aggressive with repulled. We can trade primals, we go aggressive with repos, and we try to not get them like give them clock value, overclock value, because that is the biggest difference right now in the ult situation. You know, both teams have repo, both teams are primal, both teams are semi close to Kitsune Rush, both teams don't have beat, but they have overclock. So if we can get a Reaper primal, like a repold and a primal onto the overclocking Sojourn, onto the Sojourn before she gets overclock off, that can be a very good plan. So let's see what we do. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Okay, nice. Our Soy gonna slide out. We're gonna chill. I'm gonna make a jump. I'm gonna zone Sojourn. We're gonna look for repold. We don't get a kill. They're gonna primal. They're going to try to focus our guy. I'm going to get the later primal, really important in these macro mirrors, but I'm going to get burned by the overclock. So I'm going to take a lot of damage, but I'm staying alive. MN3 gets a kill onto Landon, and they're going to Kitsune Rush. So we're actually not that unhappy with this ult exchange, okay? Next fight, I think we got fucked. And I think this is a good fight from the enemy, okay? They recognize that they have supported disadvantage. I don't think they track that we don't have beat yet. So in their mind, we have Kitsune and Beat, and they only have Beat, so we win the front to back a lot of the time. Supporters are really important for these trades. So what Carpe is gonna do right here, if I remember correctly, is he's gonna be a nerd. They're gonna look for an early dive. You see an off-tempo play, I think. Wait, maybe I'm lying. Me when I lie. Me when I lie. Let's see what we do. We're gonna start with Kitsune, then we're gonna have beat after. They're gonna probably beat into our Kitsune. Can we press Kitsune Rush Landon? What is the plan? Can we Kitsune? We're probably trying to farm Overclock and start with Overclock, but we should just Kitsune. We want the Kitsune around point, I guess. We don't want it to be kited. So now Admiral. Okay, they're just gonna beat push onto us. We're actually, yeah, this is the fucking fight. This is the fight because now we have a massive advantage. They just beat it onto us. Now we have double support advantage over them, and we have Overclock. They only have Reaper ult. So now a lot of like this is fucking bad from us, I think, because really important. Like we should expect this repold really. So we didn't expect it. But Admiral gets a 4-person beat off. Lennon gets his Kitsune rush off, and we're gonna chill like that. But that was a really good play from Carpe. He basically got a kill and forced double supported. We're gonna get the touch though. So now we're just gonna juggle a touch. How the touches go, somebody gonna ask, can you touch? Can you touch? Can you touch? Oh, Cap Primal, Cap Primal. Okay, I'm gonna overclock on the Primal, and Spark is gonna get a kill, and he's so handsome, and now we just win the game off the revolt. So yeah, that's kind of an example of fight planning of what you can do. Any more questions, guys? Any more questions? 6-7. You guys are very funny, comedic geniuses. Favorite tank to play currently? Ball, Winston, maybe Winston, to be honest. Winston, then Ball, then Ryan, in that order. I'm loving playing Winston this season. He's not even that good because Hazard is really good versus him, but he's really fun to play. I love playing Winston. How do you deal with catastrophic loss streak this season? I'm currently Masters 5 and OCM 5 at the start of the season. Okay, I signed like 400 games this season. Sometimes just take a break, Mater. Sometimes just take a break. It's really fine. I mean, sometimes you don't have to play for like a day or two. Like the thing is, okay, listen, Mater. When I stream and I lose like 5 in a row, people are like, there's some people who just say like, dude, just take a break. But I'm literally streaming, I'm literally on the clock. But if you're not streaming, if you're not on the clock, you can just
Mic check.
this is the first time ever my headset has been making this many problems. Fuck this shit anyway. So yeah, you can just take a break. Just take a break, log off for a couple of hours. Like log off for a couple of hours, log off even for a day or two, just chill, try to reset your mind, look at your gameplay meter, even though it's boring, just review your gameplay, see if it's your fault. Like self-review is pretty easy, just looking at your deaths a lot of the time, if you have any bad deaths are like the easiest thing to work on, shit like that. What makes Ball Hazard Winston better in different situations? So okay, Hazard can struggle versus characters like Hanzo, Torb, like Freya, and like Ana, like high damage, high CC characters because you only have your wall and movement to dodge abilities and dodge burst damage. So if enemy has those characters, Hazard can sometimes be hard. Ball can be good on open map and versus characters like Freya, for example. Because you can focus the Freya a lot of the time, even as Ball. Winston is kind of like Winston can be worse, like it can be better than Hazard when you can like stretch the map. Winston is like really good. Winston and Ball are both good on open maps where you can stretch the map because your jumps and your mobility is very fast and very bursty. Your mobility is very, very bursty, and you can basically teleport as Winston and with Ball, while characters like Diva and Hazard, they're a bit slower on their jumps. So that's kind of the difference. Guys, any more questions? Ba, ba, ba. Would the team combo those tanks be important too? Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like for example, if you're playing Hazard, right? If you're playing Hazard, enemy plays Hanzo, Ana, okay, and you have fucking Widow, Hanzo, Ilari, Ana. You probably can't do anything as Hazard. You probably can't do fucking anything as Hazard. But if you're playing Hazard was like Hanzo Ana and you have Hazard, Tracer, Lucio, Kiri, you can just kill them. It's probably fine. Maybe Winston better worse that comp, but Hazard can still work. If you have like Ball is pretty nice to play in rank because you can kind of play Ball with any comp. You don't really care if your team are playing noob characters. I mean, to yeah. If you could spend any hour of your day of on getting better at Overwatch, how would you schedule your day? How much self you exercise? How long should the sessions be? How many a day? Bro, I don't know, Task Force. Okay, I can tell you. When I was in Overwatch League, my living in a team house, my only goal was to get better at Overwatch. So what I would do is I would wake up early. I would wake up at 4:30 a.m. unironically. I would walk to the gym. I would have a gym session. I would lift some weights. I would maybe do some cardio. I would go home. We would have a like I would go home slash to my team house. I would go back to my team house. We would have a team watch review for an hour. We would have a 2 hour uh we would have a 2 hour scrim. Then we would have a 1 hour break where I would walk a little, go for a walk. Then maybe we would have like in that 1 hour break, maybe we would do a 30-minute review. Then we had another 2 hour scrim, another 1 hour break, and another 2 hour scrim. So 6 hours of scrims, 1 hour team review, and then after that you would still like you can chill a little for your mental health because chilling a little for your mental health is really important. Or you can do some self review or play some ranked. So yeah, kind of like that. I don't know if you don't have a life and you only want to play Overwatch, I wouldn't recommend it. But maybe you can play ranked for like I don't know 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. But just try to be focused. If you notice that you lose, like if you're asking how long the sessions should be, if you notice yourself that you're losing focus, you don't have to keep playing. Like if you're losing focus, take a break. You're legally allowed to take a break. And Scrim's home point is the basis the comp you start on and looking to get better and was swapping if the enemy team is very strong against it. It depends what your goal is. Is your goal to win or to get better at your comp? Is your like if you I think you can just swap. I think you can just swap. If you want like it's fine. If you're losing, you don't have to ram your head against the wall unless you like it. Unless like you like ramming your head against the wall, that's fine as well. Like it's fine to have the mindset of just wanting to improve at your one trick comp or like trying to get better at a comp on a certain map. That's also like that can be a good mindset, but it just like it really just depends on your personal goal. Would you say Hazard needs a more mobile, faster backline than Winston? Winston could play better with Anna Brick than Hazard. Yeah, I agree with that fully. Dumda, Winston and Ball, they're a bit more stable. They can play with a lot of different comps, but Hazard, he's kind of like a mix of a dive and a brawl tank. Hazard really good at frontline trading as well, punishing frontliners, punishing tanks, etc., and also diving. But you kind of need a faster comp around Hazard. You're right, Dumda. Also, Kiriko is Kiriko's fucking broken character. Everyone can admit that. But Kiriko is really good with Hazard because was all of the burst damage and CC abilities like from Ana, etc., like nades and stuff like that. That Hazard is really weak to. Like Kiriko can counter that. Kiriko can cleanse like big burst damage and cleanse DPS passive and heal Hazard very fast, etc., etc. Anything else, guys? Anything else? Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Guys, if you don't have questions, it's fine too. I've been already talking for 2 hours. I might just say goodbye and dip, guys. I might just draw a heart on the monitor. Is Ryan playable currently in pro scene? Maybe if you try really hard, but I think he's playable, but he's probably not optimal. But you can make Ryan work if you want to. Gotta go to scrim now. Let's do it, Damda. Good luck in your scrim, okay? Don't get frustrated if stuff doesn't work, okay? Very important. Have a learning mentality. Always just trying your best. Trying your best. You got this. Good luck.
All right, last call for questions, everyone.
Last
Hadi
call,
has
guys.
generously talked for quite a long time now, so.
And thank you for being a god. I know it's late, but happy birthday. It's only like 2 days late. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Mm-mm-mm. What did you say? Just got here. LOL. LOL. Yes, happy birthday. Thank you. W Rage Bait. Lucky boy. W Rage Bait. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you. W Rage Bait. Hadi, do you plan on competing again? Depends if a team wants to give me money. I'm playing right now on Alula in Saudi League because they are so kind of giving me a monthly salary. But unfortunately, I'm reliant on being a functioning adult and paying rent. So I have to find a mix of doing what I like to do and doing what makes money. If a team wants to sign me but they don't want to give me money, or like not great money, unfortunately cannot, because I have to do something that gives me money, you know, and pays the rent and pays some food, and pays some protein powder and shit like that, and the gym membership. Thanks for the seminar. I got no question. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, let's go. Let's type a question. Let's get a question going, or let's get a goodbye wave going. And your opinion, what source would be the best to learn macro gameplay from? I think Spylo is really good. I think maybe Anta is also really smart and he's funny. He's funny as fuck. I love Anta and he's also really smart. Sometimes he gives good analysis, like between all of the fucking shit posting he does, he gives good analysis as well. So if you can look past all of the shit posting, he gives good analysis too. He's very smart about the game. But Spylo as well, good shout. And with Spylo, you don't have to look past the shit posting because he doesn't shit post. But he's also very smart. I'm getting water right now, guys. Okay, just type your last questions in the chat. I'm too fucking thirsty. I'm too thirsty. Out, have a good weekend. Thank you so much. You too, George. Wait a sec. Who shit posts? Anta. I mean, he's a very funny guy, but he's also a very smart guy. Okay, guys, I got a bounce, okay? Now, last call. Last call. Type your question right now. As Dragon Ball, we're supposed to be targeting mid-fight playing against any comp containing Kiriko. Hi, are you single? No, I have a girlfriend. I live with her. Like Wuyan, Kiri, Lucio, Kiriko. A lot of the time, Maida, if you're playing ball and you can like put a retract grapple into the air, you can focus Lucio a lot. Lucio is sometimes a good first target. Kiriko, you have to be careful of not taking too much burst damage from her, but Lucio is a good first target. Wuyang is a good first target. Kiri is like a good mid-fight target. If you get a drop on any of them, it's always good. Like, it really depends. But Lucio was like a fast Lucio Kiri comp. If you have like a retract Spider-Man grapple, Lucio is a good target for sure. Mm-mm-mm. Thank you. No problem, Flame. Yeah, I'm not single, guys. I live with my girlfriend. Duo. What do you think about OTP or tank? Bro, do whatever makes you happy in life. Thank you for ball tips, no problem. Do I have to go outside? I have to go outside right now, and then I have to go to my computer. Hardy Goat, thank you, Natu. Alright, Mala Volens, can you take it away?
Yep, I think we'll call it here. Thanks again for coming in. I'm sure everyone learned a bunch of great things. For anyone who's coming in later, whatever, I've recorded it. We'll put it up on YouTube and stuff like that. I'll also link Hadi's socials as well. Make sure we all give him a follow. And I don't know if you have a specific link for your coaching as well. It seems some people were interested in getting some
If
of
you're
that too.
interested, if you're interested in my coaching, guys, just add me on Discord. I mean, you can just add me from here. I just typed in there. You can just add me on Discord. We can talk it out. If you guys wanna hit a big support on my stream, guys. I'm streaming a shit ton recently, guys. I've had like an 18-hour stream yesterday. So just follow me on Twitch, guys, if you really want. You can also join my Discord if you guys want to have like everything. I'm just gonna put a link to my Discord right here if I'm so seamlessly allowed to self-plug.
Of course, yeah.
Do
As
you
long as you don't
think?
steal the teams from here for some weird reason.
Yeah, yeah,
You're all good.
I will try, okay.
Okay.
Do you think Gaming for Hope could make it to tier 1? Yes, but probably no. I mean, he can make it. He can make it if he really wants to and if he dedicates the time. But like, I don't think like age is like really a limit. But it's very hard, very low chance. Like maybe 0.1. I should you come now? Good luck. Good luck. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, guys, is it time to bounce? Is it time to say goodbye? I think it is. I think it is, Marla.
I
All
think
right,
so too.
guys. Thank you. No problem. No problem, guys. Have a good rest of your night, of your day, of your evening, of your morning. See you guys. It was very fun chatting to you. Bye bye.